Hey, welcome to another episode of geekoutdoors.com. So the game system formerly known as the AtariBox, now named the Atari VCS, just went up on Indiegogo on May 30th, 2018. And as of right now, on May 31st, 2018, it has already raised over $2 million. $2,089,890 to be exact. And it still has almost a month to go. And so their initial goal was $100,000. It's already exceeded that by 2,090%. So this is something that I did talk about whenever they announced it. And I, like many other people, were actually skeptical, especially considering Atari's past track records with game systems. And the last game system they released was the Atari Jaguar, which I actually own, and it was definitely disappointing. And so I am going to go over this, and specifically there are specs on here which are interesting to me, and the fact that it does run Linux, and I'll get into that a little bit further, and also where is this system going. What are my thoughts now that this has actually been released on their Indiegogo campaign. So first and foremost, the actual design of this system, it's pretty much spot on to what they showed earlier, and also the hands-on. And so one thing I do like is the design. The system looks old school, at least the collector's edition. It does have that rib look along with actual wood grain, and it has a modern retro style controller. I love that look. And then it also comes with a more standard controller. So you don't actually get both controllers. You actually have to purchase this one separately. So what do you get when you purchase your Atari VCS, which is actually goes back to the name of the original Atari VCS? Well, what you actually get is the system itself, the controller, and you do get different options for which editions that you want, and I'll go over that a little bit later. And you get 100 games already loaded into it. So this is actually something that's already existed. This is the Atari Vault, and so the Atari Vault has been available since March 2016. So this is available on Steam for $10. So it looks like it's the exact same thing. And so other than that, you get different choices of the type of systems that you want. So the most expensive version is this collector's edition. I'll go back here on top, which is the $299. It does have the wood grain classic joystick. So I think it's mainly the design aesthetic that is different. Let me see if there's anything different. That's a good price though, $29 for a retro. I would just buy this separately. That just looks cool. And then $49 for a modern controller. You could get both of these together. Okay. And so here, okay, so this, you do have to buy the controller separately. For the Onyx, this is $200, $199, $200. And then for $229, you get that and the joystick together. All right, Onyx. And then here is just the Atari VCS and Onyx. I'm not sure why this one's $249. I don't know what the difference is there. Okay. Not sure why that costs more. But yeah, $279 for this one. Atari VCS Onyx Classic. Okay. I'm not understanding why these actually cost so... There's a huge... I have to go into this further to understand why this is so different in terms of pricing, even though this one doesn't have a controller. But you see here, there's obviously different options for the hardware. But the thing is, they didn't really spend too much time on actual games that's going to be on it, and that's what I really want to get into. And they do have some multiple studio partners, and most of these I've never heard of before. These are probably smaller independent studios. And then they show some videos on how this is used. And if you actually watch the promo video for the actual Indiegogo campaign, it's not bad at all. It's a very well produced campaign. But the thing that they focus on the most is the actual design and also the nostalgia factor of the system. And now let's go ahead and get into the specs. And so the specs itself, it will be running an AMD processor, and it will be running Ubuntu Linux as the main operating system. Now, this was not something that was surprising, okay? For a lot of people who want to get into the whole game world, you're normally going to run some type of Android-based or Linux-based system. That's pretty much what most people do. And there are many advantages for them doing that. Specifically, the fact that they don't have to pay a license to a company like Microsoft to run an operating system. So I think that's the main reason. And also not having to build an entire ecosystem or build proprietary system. So that's a big thing. I just wasn't sure of whether or not they were going to use an Ubuntu base, but here's the full specs, okay? And the reason why I say it's a big thing, and also it's not a surprising thing, is the fact that there's already many other options available when it comes to a Linux-based system, okay? Now, NVIDIA Shield, I think, is the best available. Even though it is Android, it still has the Linux kernel underneath. I still think this is the best. If you just want something that is a streaming game, a retro gaming system, I still think this is the best, okay? And pricing-wise, you could get this starting at $179, and then you could get up to $299 for the 500 gig. So in terms of doing all of that and doing 4K, this is probably, in my opinion, a better option. And also there was the Steam OS boxes, which never really flew at all, okay? But the thing is, gaming in Linux is growing, you know, and it continues to grow. And so it would make sense that Atari would do this, okay? Because it is going to be very similar to other game systems that's already tried, and even big failures like the Ouya, if y'all remember that one. That one was a huge failure, and that also had a very successful campaign as well. I think it was on Kickstarter, but that didn't turn out too well. And so that's what this system is supposed to do. It's supposed to provide you the nostalgia, the Atari games, but also be able to play Steam games on Linux and retro gaming. And it does allow you to put in external storage, very similar to the NVIDIA Shield. And looking at the other specs, this will be a small system, 3 pounds. It does have 32 gigs of eMMC, storage space, which is not great at all. It also has 4 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and a Radeon R7 GPU. The processor, I'm not really sure, Bristol Ridge. So bottom line, this isn't going to be a powerful system. And the thing is, this isn't actually going to be released so far until July of 2019. And so I'm not really sure who this is for, besides the diehard Atari fans. Because as far as I could tell, and similar to what my thoughts were initially when it was announced, it's not offering anything new that other companies have already tried. And I still feel that this one has done the best overall. And so I'm not sure how they're going to do competing against Sony, Microsoft, and especially Nintendo in this space, and even against the absolutely limitless amount of existing Android and Linux boxes out there already. And so it will be interesting to see what Atari can do with their partners that they have to produce games that are really exclusive to the Atari VCS, and give an experience that the people who buy this box, the Atari fans, will actually enjoy. Okay, so I'm not expecting this system to do anything amazing. Okay, just looking at the specs alone, and if you think of the fact that it would not be released until July of 2019, it's going to be really underpowered. And so by that point, there'll be new systems, hardware is going to continually get better. And so I'm not sure where Atari is going to have their space in here. But just judging by the initial $2 million+ raised in just pretty much less than a day, well, it looks like Atari is not going anywhere in this case. It looks like this will really happen. And so, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I am definitely not going to get this. It doesn't really offer anything new to me besides the whole nostalgia factor and the cool design. I will be getting this retro controller though. I think this is going to be compatible with anything. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Atari VCS and all the specs, the games, the details that run for it. So let me know what your thoughts are on the Atari VCS, or any of your thoughts on the existing Android/Linux box, I guess you could call it, market as well. And also the viability of Steam OS, if that's still even a thing anymore, or even Linux gaming. And so leave all of your thoughts in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you can do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you actually wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then join my Go Content Creators group, where you would get access to 30 free videos and more continuing content for all their creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. All you have to do is simply go to the link below, head over to our page, and join my Go Content Creators group. Thanks a lot, and I will see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.